Good evening and welcome out to tonight's onboarding webinar. This is Coach Frank with Tackle Trading. I will be taking you through the Tackle Trading website this evening, kind of letting you know what we're doing, when we're doing it, where you can find it, hopefully to help you get to know us a little bit better, whether you're a new pro member and just figuring us out, or if you're just somebody checking us out, seeing if maybe it would be a good home for you. So we will dive right in very quickly before we do here in shortly at 8:30 Eastern, so just about an hour and a half. Right here on this YouTube channel, we will be doing a special webinar on swing trading call options. If you've never, or if you are currently trading, long calls, trading directionally with options, it can be a fantastic tool. Coach Tyler is going to do an awesome webinar on hopefully making you a little bit better when it comes to swing trading those options. That should be a really good webinar. Again, that's tonight here, February 14th, because that's when we are right now. And you might be watching this tomorrow though. But if you are watching it right now, that will be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on this YouTube channel. Should be a heck of a lot of fun and hopefully very, very informative for you as well. Also, just a couple things I always like to highlight. Number one is our friends over at tradingjustice.com. That is just tradingjustice.com. Each week, the guys, Coach Matt, Coach Tim, and Coach Mark, put out the Trading Justice podcast. You can find that right over there at tradingjustice.com or on any of your favorite podcast providers. But a really fun and informative podcast to add to your weekly routine. There's also a very nice monthly newsletter that you will find over there as well. That's always packed, filled with all sorts of good stuff. And then on Fridays after noon, you'll find the Huddle podcast here as well. That's just a quick wrap up of the top 10 stories of the trading week to make sure that, maybe you've had a busy week, haven't been able to keep up with the market as much as maybe you would like. It can just quick, straight to the point. What were the top stories going on in the market this past week? Again, another thing that hopefully you can add to your weekly routine to make you a little bit, make it a little more efficient. Again, the huddle you can find just on this link at tackletrading.com. You can also find it on any of your favorite podcast providers. As we kind of talk about tackle trading, what it really is just a group of traders. We've come together to share ideas, help each other out, right? Have each other's back. I mean, nobody can make my trades for me, but trading can feel lonely sometimes because typically we're kind of doing it by ourselves, right? In our office or whatever it might be, and so having a group of like-minded people to share, what's going on, to reach out if you need something, to help you with new strategies, whatever it might be, is very, very awesome in my opinion. But when I'm explaining tackle trading, I like it to break it down into three parts. Number one, the things that you can do on your own. That's going to be courses. That's going to be blogs. That's going to be some of the tools that you're going to find here in our trade center. That's going to be the tackle trading playbook. We'll talk a little bit more about those here in just a moment. Things that basically you can, do it at your own speed on your own time, right? Then that number two, the things that you can do with others, that's basically the schedule, right? Each, market day, we're going to be working the markets with our team in a variety of ways. So what is, when do we do this? And what is the Traders Lounge, right? So number two is the schedule. And then lastly, our weekend reports. Each week, we like to, make sure our team is ready for the upcoming week in the market with the tackle newsletter, stock option, and commodity reports. That will be the third part of what we're talking about this evening. But let's take it from the top. Things that you can do on your own. For me, at least, what really jumps out is courses when I think about that. We do have several courses available to all of our pro members. 7-Step Guide to Trading is kind of an introduction to the tackle way, I guess, if you will. Come on over to this thing. Oh, good. Make me log back in. That's all right. I'll log back in. Yeah, there we go. All right. This is just, kind of an introduction to the tackle trading way. And like I said earlier, no one can make my trades for me, and no two traders are exactly the same. But here at Tackle Trading, I do think we share kind of a philosophical approach to the market, right? From taking that top-down approach, right? What's going on in the broad market, into the sectors, commodities, as we work our way down into individual stocks, how do we choose our strategies? We're big watch list traders, so how do we find and manage those watch lists, planning our trades ahead, where we getting in, where we getting out, right? How we targeting all this stuff. placing the trade, managing the trade, journaling the trade, kind of the whole process, or at least our approach to the markets here at Tackle Trading. It'll also be helpful, hopefully, very much so if you're a newer trader and struggling a little bit with routine and consistency. If you're a veteran trader, I'm sure you have a pretty decent routine already down, how you approach things, but maybe you can get some good ideas in there nonetheless. So that is the 7-step guide to trading. Technical analysis 101. As traders, of course, we're going to do a heck of a lot of charting, right? And that's true whether we're day traders, swing traders, cash flow traders, trading stock, trading option, trading crypto, whatever it is, we are going to be using technical analysis. So, technical analysis is just going to be charts, and more charts, right? Trend, support and resistance, candlesticks, patterns, right? All of those things, the better we can get at our technical analysis, I think probably the better, right? I don't think we'll, I don't know anybody who's ever, hit the always right, perfect on their charting. I'm never wrong when I look at a chart. So there's always room for improvement. If you're a newer trader, this is exactly where I would suggest any newer trader starts, because it doesn't matter your tradable instrument, doesn't matter your time frame. Charting is going to be your friend. Over in the options course, we're going to really focus on what's going on with that contract when you buy or sell that call option, that put option, right? What are the things that are influencing the way that it moves, the way that it's priced, right? Options aren't as clear cut maybe as stock trades, right? In the sense that if we buy a stock for $20, if we sell it for 21, whether that's a minute from now, an hour from now, a day from now, a week from now, a month from now, whatever, we buy it for 20 and sell it for 21, we made $1, right? Very straightforward in that regard. Options, there's going to be other factors going on, time decay, movement, all of that fun stuff. And so that's really what's going to be the focus over in that options 101 course. And I'm a big believer that if we truly understand the contract, why it's doing the things it's doing, any strategy we're trading is going to make a lot more sense. If you've ever been interested in learning more about the futures or the Forex markets, we offer introductory courses into those areas as well. I know those markets can be a bit intimidating, and not everyone wants to trade those markets, and that's perfectly fine with me. But if you want to trade those markets, I don't ever want anybody to feel like they can't, right? And they're a little bit different. There's some things we need to understand. They're very leveraged markets. We need to understand how that works. But I found, when I was getting into this stuff, and granted, it was, a while ago now, things have definitely changed, but, it was really hard to get just good, clear information on, trading futures and Forex. And so, if you've ever had any interest in both or either of those markets, can be a really great place to start. Regardless of what you're trading, it's very important to have clearly designed systems and rules in place, right? And we all get that. And I think everybody agrees with that. But it's one thing to say it and another thing to do it, right? And the system development course is really designed to train you to approach your trading from a systematic perspective. It is a really good course. I cannot encourage you enough to take some time to go through it. That's true whether you're pretty new to all this stuff or you've been doing it for a long time, or anywhere in between. The better we have put together system, right? The better we understand what we're doing, when we're doing it, why we're doing it, how we're doing it, it really can make trading a much better experience, in my opinion. And I really do believe that most traders don't think about their trading from a systems perspective, but I also believe that it's just a little light switch that once you kind of start thinking in those terms, you really just keep thinking in those terms. And Coach Christian, who put this system development course together for us, did a really fantastic job on helping our team get trained from that perspective. You will notice we do offer a handful of premium products in the form of the Tackle 25, the Step System, the Cash Flow Condors, and the Bear Market Survival Guide. These are one-time purchases. It's a complete system. The system is yours for life. We get together once a month with members of each of those teams in a mastermind group. If you would like more information, you can always email us, team@tackletrading.com, or find it over in the store tab. But just very quickly, so you know what they are, the Tackle 25 is a covered call-based system. based on a group of stocks that we put together each year with the intent of, selling covered calls against. Step system is kind of our approach to swing trading. It stands for stop loss, target, entry, and position size. Cash flow condors is another cash flowing system, this time on the Russell 2000, using credit spreads. And the bear market survival guide, kind of exactly what it sounds like, preparing, for, dealing with, potential turns to bearish market conditions while things are bullish, and then, handling those when they are in bearish conditions. We get together with, as I said earlier, with each members of those teams once a month in a mastermind group. We invite all of our team, whether or not you've picked up the system, to join us in those mastermind groups. We'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the schedule, but you are certainly invited as a pro member to join us in any of those mastermind groups with our different systems. That's going to kind of wrap up the course side of things. Not everything has to be a course. We do regular blog content. Sometimes it'll be in written format. Sometimes it'll be in video format, but another way to answer questions that our teams haven't, or hit topics that are important to the market right now, share ideas with the team, whether it's more charting and Tales as a technician, taking concepts kind of from the ground up with Coach Greg over in the Rookie Corner, more options in the Option Theory blog, hearing from our awesome female traders in the Women in Trading blog. So these are just, again, another little addition to that, weekly or monthly routine, just another way to share ideas with members of our community. Over in the Trade Center, you will find a link to the Tackle Trading Playbook, which we're going to come back to in just a moment, a link to our trading journals glossary, and our clubhouse, which is kind of just our own little, one of our social platforms, right? It's just where members of our team can bounce ideas around with one another, talk trading with other traders, is all. Over in the Playbook, you will find all of our strategies, as well as, the rules for those strategies. We break our strategies into three core components: Delta, Theta, and Vega. These are based, of course, on the option Greeks. Our Delta playbook, this is our directional playbook. I think the stock's going from point A to point B. I think the stock's going from $50 to $60. I think the stock's going from $30 to $27, right? I think it's going to make a move, and I would like to try to capture that move. So of course that would include, buying or selling shares, but of course that'll also, being buying call options, buying put options, doing debit spreads, doing ratio spreads, basically movement-based strategies. Then you got the Theta, or the cash flow playbook, right? The cool thing about options is we can sell them and bring in that premium up front and take advantage of the one guarantee, which is time passing, right? And so that's going to be those covered calls. That's going to be naked puts, going to be credit spreads, iron condors, basically selling based strategies. And then our Vega or volatility playbook, this is where we're playing the expected volatility. I think the stock's going to move a lot on its upcoming earnings, because it usually moves a lot on its earnings reports. No way for me to know if it's going to move up or down, but maybe based off of its history, I have a strong suspicion that it should be moving a lot one way or another. And I'd like to build a trade that reflects that, right? And makes me money as long as it moves a lot one way or the other. So that's going to be straddles and strangles and short strangles and things of that nature. In each of these, there will be a detailed video, going over what the strategy is, why the strategy, right? What place does it have in our playbook? How do we do it? What are our rules, right? Risk, reward, all of that fun stuff, taking it kind of from beginning to end. There's a little downloadable PDF, so you have easy access to the rules as well. You'll also notice there's always a 0 to a plus or a -3. And that's just kind of along the spectrum of 0 being neutral to 3 being very bullish, -3 being very bearish. Where do we kind of see that strategy fitting in, right? And so kind of the way I think about it is, 0 is just flat neutral, right? Plus or -1 is slightly bullish or slightly bearish. 2 or -2 is just bullish or bearish, right? Just normal or moderate, however you want to word it. And then 3 or -3, very bullish or very bearish. We always, and I know it sounds silly when you say it out loud, but it is true still. We always want to match the strategy to the situation, right? If we are looking at a stock that we think is going from 50 to 55, I'm going to probably choose a different instrument if I think it's going to happen quickly as opposed to happen slowly, right? And we always want to make sure that we are matching the strategy to our view of the situation. That is for sure. And that is the Tackle Trading Playbook. Hopefully, you'll have a lot of fun in there. Going directly into the Trade Center, it'll kind of bring you to a What's Up at Tackle Trading page. What's our next show, our recent posts. There's a little mini calendar of upcoming events, little watch list. If you want to, build out a watch list for yourself, all you'll do is throw your symbol in. Say you wanted to add some Pepsi to your watch list. I'm just going to hit the plus button, select the ticker and hit the plus button. Now they're in this watch list. They'll be here if I come back. If I decide, you know what, I don't need Pepsi in my watch list anymore, I'm done with them, I just can select them in my watch list, hit the minus button, and that will get rid of them. So this will be very specific to me or to you if you want to just have an easy way to access your watch list. There will be a replay or a live showing of one of our YouTube shows. Typically, this will be the halftime report, but it might be this webinar. It might be our special webinars. It might be our Trade Masters webinar. Where you are, if you're taking any courses, so you can pick right back up where you left off without having to spend 5 minutes trying to figure out exactly where did you leave. So really just kind of a what's up page here at Tackle Trading. There's also a link here in the Trade Center to tradingjustice.com. That's where we were kind of when we started this conversation. There's also a variety of tools in here. There's going to be the market Skyline, and over in the market Skyline, you're going to find the charts for all of the big stuff, right? So the index futures, the S&P, the Dow, the NASDAQ, the RUT, Bitcoin, the emerging market ETF, the all world ETF, the major commodities, gold, silver, copper, crude, as well as the sector Spyder ETFs. These are all a big part of the daily routine. Certainly of mine and certainly of ours here at Tackle Trading. We wanted them all in one place. You don't have to do it here by any stretch. You're welcome to, of course, but it's important to, as we're thinking about that top-down approach, to work through indexes, commodities, sectors, right? We wanted to have a page where basically it was all in one spot, if you will. There's also a link to the FinViz heat maps here as well. This will just bring you over to finviz.com, give you the heat map for the S&P 500 for today, just a visual of the day that was, right? What did we see? Quite a bit of selling, a lot more red than green, that's for sure. So, definitely, even without looking at a chart, we can probably gather that the bears won the day, right? There were some areas that were kind of standing out a little bit, right? So it's just a way to generate ideas, a little snapshot of the market. There's a little bit of customization you can do. While it is defaulted to the one-day performance, you can look at the weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, based off of fundamentals. There's a little bit of customization that you can do there in that heat map. So that's the link will take you over to that page. There's a news aggregator. This is going to go through some of the bigger financial sites, as you can kind of see here: Market Watch, CNBC, Wall Street Journal. The Times is probably, there's the Times. Those are the kind of the big four that I notice a lot in this. Just going to go through these big financial websites, get our headlines and kind of get them organized, so I can, instead of bouncing around trying to find a story that's interesting to me, I can just really easily process, the headline. Oh, that's boring. Oh, that's interesting. Can click it and take a little bit of a read. Just really designed to save some time and some clicks, right? It's not that we couldn't find all these stories at the website. Of course we can do that, but it's just an easier way, maybe, I think at least, to kind of process and to find stories that I actually want to read. There's a link to the economic calendar to make sure we know what's on the economic schedule for the day or for the upcoming trading week that can impact our trading. Another link to our market reports, which up here, a link to the compounding gains calculator to help visualize the compounding power of money, chart if you ever need one, glossary. Again, we found that in the drop down. Another link to our search function, also this little magnifying glass, and the search function is pretty smart. So if you're ever looking for something, that can be a great place to start. You're always welcome to ask us and send us an email or hit me up in Discord or whatever. But a lot of times it's really easy to find what you're looking for just by a quick search. There's also another link to our trade journals in here. If you aren't journaling your trades yet, I hope you will start that process very, very soon. If you are, I'm happy to hear that. Journaling your trades over time will save and make you money. I 100% believe that if you come into the trade journals directly through the trade center like we did, as opposed to on the drop down of the trade center, it'll take you to this tutorial page just to kind of walk you through how to use that journal if you need a little bit of helping hand on that side of things. We've got 3 different journals. We've got the trade journal, probably exactly what you think. I need to let it know what I did, when I did it, and how much of it I did, right? Today I bought 100 shares of Ford, right? And on February 27th, I sold 100 shares of Ford. I just need to let it know what I did and when I did it. It's going to track the rest for me. How long was I in the trade? How long on average am I in my trade? Was my average winning trade make me? Was my average losing trade cost me? Right? Bottom line, whole 9 yards. Awesome tool. The theta research tool. This is for our cash flow, right? Where we can build and compare strategies kind of apples to apples, right? So maybe we've got 5 candidates to do, a covered call on, but we aren't going to do 5 covered calls. We're trying to pick our favorite 1 or 2 out of that bunch. Well, we want to kind of compare them apples to apples, right? And the theta research tool is going to allow us to do just that. Then you're going to have the portfolio journal just to kind of help you keep organized with where you are overall in your portfolio. If you're coming into the trade journals like we're in right now, just select whichever one you want and you can download it directly from here. Again, you can also find it on the drop down of the Trade Center itself. So that's going to kind of highlight some of the big things that you can do on your own here as we kind of shift into the second phase, and that's things that you can do with others, basically the schedule, right? We start every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on Tackle Trading with our team in our Traders Lounge. We're in there every single market morning. So pretty much Monday through Friday, minus a handful of holidays throughout the year. The Traders Lounge is a place where every member of our team can come in, hang out, just hang with other traders, ask questions to get them answered, share ideas, whatever it is that you need to do, you're welcome to bring it into that Traders Lounge. Really, everything goes in there, right? If you're struggling with a particular strategy, hey, I could really use some help on putting together bull put spread kind of from top to bottom. Could we walk through an example? Absolutely, right? I'm struggling with my daily routine. What are some ideas, right? Hey, I've got this trade on company XYZ. And kind of thinking about converting it into a covered call. What do we think about that? I've got a great trade set up on company XYZ. Am I alone here? Is other people seeing this breakout that I'm seeing? Really just a place for traders to come in, hang out, and get help when they need it. You're always welcome to join us in that Traders Lounge. Your questions are always welcome in that Traders Lounge. You'll get to know some awesome people and awesome traders in there as well. That is every market morning at 11 a.m. Eastern right here on Tackle Trading. We're typically not going to record the Traders Lounge because quite bluntly, no one's going to go watch one from 7 months ago, right? But we will record snippets fairly regularly and get them put directly on this page. So it's always fun to check back in. If your schedule is such as you just could never make it to the lounge because you're, say, at work at 11 a.m. Eastern, each market morning, you can let us know and we can, record a segment for you, answer your question, get it posted in here. We're always going to try our best to kind of get you, accommodate you. So certainly a nice little, fun little addition. Shortly after our Traders Lounge, we head over to our YouTube channel, which of course where we're at right now at 12:30 p.m. Eastern for the halftime report. Live looking at the market, walking through that top-down approach, right? Going through that market one step at a time. What's going on in the storylines today? How it's impacting the charts in the S&P, in the Dow, in the NASDAQ, right? In the Russell. What's going on with commodities, sectors, stocks in the news? Really, the whole kind of top-down approach each and every day in our halftime report right here on our YouTube channel. Again, that's 12:30 p.m. Eastern for the halftime report. So every market day, whether it's the lounge here at Tackle Trading or the halftime report over on our YouTube channel, we will be working the markets with the team. On Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do the coaches show. I would personally consider the coaches show as kind of the flagship show of Tackle Trading. We're a couple days into the market. It's a Tuesday night, right? These will be recorded and archived. So if you can't join them live, or if you need to re-watch them, or if there's a subject from a little while ago that you would like more information on, very easy to find in here. But what I love about the coaches show is it allows us to have an in-depth conversation on one thing, right? There's so many things that we could talk about in trading, right? Whether it's particular strategy, particular pattern, particular indicator, watch list management, stop loss management, targeting, entries, portfolio design. I mean, there's a lot that we could talk about, right? And the coaches show lets us narrow that down to one thing. Hey, let's have an in-depth conversation on this, right? And that's what I always love about it, because sometimes you want to have that deeper conversation, right? And it's easier to share ideas that way. That is the coaches show, Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Love to see it there live, but we get it. The schedules are schedules, and so that will be recorded and archived. And like I said, it's pretty easy to find subjects from yesterday or last week or last month that maybe are interesting to you. On Thursday nights, also at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, we do the Cash Flow Club. Cash Flow Club's a little more narrowly focused, as the name kind of gives away, on building and managing those cash flow strategies, right? So credit spreads, covered calls, condors, naked puts, building and managing those type of trades. Just like the coaches show, it is recorded and archived. Should be easy to find subjects that are interesting to you, conversations. But if you're a cash flow trader, or if you're looking to incorporate some cash flow trading into your overall trading plan, you're going to love the Cash Flow Club as well. As I mentioned a little earlier, we, each month we meet up with members of the different systems teams in a mastermind group, and all of our pro members are invited to join us in those each and every time. So do keep an eye out for that. On Wednesday night, we do things a little different. I'm going to hop over to the events calendar really quickly. On Wednesday nights, we kind of do a twofer. On our YouTube channel at 7 Eastern, we do our Trade Masters webinar. Couple coaches will bring some trade ideas, a directional or a delta trade idea, a theta trade idea, and a wild card round. Can be anything. And they'll bounce them off one another, and members of our team in the chat. After each round, members of the team will vote on their favorite idea. And at the end, somebody's declared the trade master for the week. It's really a lot of fun, a nice way to be able to maybe beef up that midweek watch list, right? There's never a bad way to find a trade idea, right? It's never, it's not about the ones you don't like. I hated Frank's breakout choice. I wouldn't trade that one. But you know what? I really liked the naked put on Ford because blah, blah, whatever, right? So no bad way to find a trade idea. It's a lot of fun to hang out with the team live as we're bouncing those things around. Hope to see you. That's Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then shortly after that YouTube show, we're going to head back over to Tackle Trading for our traders, our Wednesday night Traders Lounge. It's going to be very similar to our morning trading lounges with one exception. We're just coming out of the Trade Masters webinar, right? And so if we want to go a little bit deeper, if members of our community want us to go a little bit deeper on anything that we discussed in that webinar, we're happy to oblige that as well. So it'll be on Wednesday nights, 7 p.m. on the YouTube channel for the Trade Masters webinar, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, back at Tackle Trading for that Wednesday night lounge. On Mondays, we're typically doing a special webinar. We don't do a special webinar every Monday on YouTube, but we regularly do them. Typically, we're meeting with members of one of our mastermind teams. You can kind of see the Tackle 25 was today. Bear Market Survival Guide is next Monday. So Monday night, in addition to the onboarding webinar, where we're kind of doing what we're doing right now, we're typically either or both doing a mastermind group or a YouTube webinar, as a very general rule. We have a tremendous team of female traders with us, and they'll get together about once a month in their Women in Trading Mastermind group. Actually have one coming up this week, as you can kind of see. Where did you go? There we go. On the 18th is the next one. I don't know exactly because I don't get to go. I'm not a woman in trading, but I do know this. I know our team. I know these awesome ladies. Some of them I've known for years and years. I have no doubt that there's a lot of good learning going on in there, and probably some laughs as well. If you are a woman in trading, or if you know a woman in trading, I would strongly encourage you to connect with the wonderful ladies of Tackle Trading. in that mastermind group. I think you'll have a fantastic time and meet some fantastic people and traders. Fellas, you're like me, you're on your own that day. That is just for our awesome ladies at Tackle Trading. It does tend to be about once a month, and we do have one coming up this week. So that's kind of what the schedule looks like in an overly simplified way. You can kind of think about it like this. The morning lounge is for questions, your questions. What do you need? What do you want to go through? Right? It's really focused specifically on our team and what you need that day. Right? The halftime report is really about that daily routine. Right? Really about just staying on top of the market and following the story that is the market. Right? And then the evening shows is where we can kind of take that deeper dive, put on kind of the teacher's hat in a little bit, a little bit more, and really have deep dives on these different subjects, whether it's building or managing them or both, right? And so that is an overly simplified way to think about it, because there's always going to be a little bit of bleed over, right, in all those areas. But as you're kind of getting to know us, maybe that can help in kind of separating, because we do, a lot of content, here each week at Tackle Trading, and it's always helpful to be organized. We are in the events calendar right now. Hopefully that can help you keep organized as well. And if you're looking for the link to get into the show, say tomorrow you're looking for the link to get into the coaches show, well, you'll get it in the daily email, but you can just come to the events calendar, click on your show. If it's time, you'll get the link and all that stuff to get you in there. So that is the events calendar, and that is the schedule. I hope that helps on that side of things. Lastly, we have the reports. On Fridays, what we're doing as a team of coaches as the market's closing down for the week is we're all getting together in what we refer to as our scouting report meeting. We're talking markets, we're talking commodities, we're talking sectors, we're talking setups. And out of that comes our weekend reports that we deliver to our team each by Saturday afternoon each week, starting with the Tackle newsletter. This is kind of a look ahead to next week in the market. So again, kind of stick with that top-down approach, right? Trying to get the team prepared for the upcoming week in the market. So kind of talk about the week that was, what happened, this past week. What were the storylines, right? That was impacting the market. What does the upcoming earnings week look like? Talking about sectors, the economic calendar. Of course, we'll always have a video going through this stuff with the team. Where are we at in the overall market, be it the S&P, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, or the Russell? The corresponding ETFs are in here as well. If you aren't familiar with them, DIA tracks the diamonds, QQQ tracks the NASDAQ, IWM for the RUT, and SPY for the S&P 500. A look at the internal indicators of the market. We're going to be looking at, as opposed to say the S&P, that's very heavily weighted to some really big names, right? We want to, that's important too. Don't get me wrong, and there's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes taking a closer look at kind of the underneath the hood, if you will, can help give us a better idea of what's going on in the market as well. So the news highs versus new lows, as well as the advanced decliners, to kind of see where, are we seeing strength or weakness as we really take a deep dive under the hood. Then you're going to have our Gridiron. Each week, we're going to rank the sectors based off of what we're seeing. You're going to notice a couple of things. Number one, we're going to be using the sector Spyder ETFs, which you can find right down here. Just a quick word on them if you're not familiar with them. The sector Spyder ETFs, what they'll do is they're going to say energy, for example, XLE, going to go into the S&P 500. The ETF provider is going to do this, go into the S&P 500, pull out just the energy stocks. Because it's coming out of the S&P 500, they're going to weight it accordingly, and they're going to put just those energy stocks into a portfolio, which we can trade and that we're looking at right now. So this is an isolated look at the energy sector versus an isolated look at the healthcare sector versus an isolated look at the communication sector, right? You can find more information about the ETFs at the website. The ETF provider's website is just sectorspdr.com. If you want to get a little more information on, how they're built, who's in them, how are they weighted, all of that fun stuff. We're going to be using the symbol on our Gridiron, right? But we're not rating it specifically based off of XLE. We're rating it based off of the stocks that build up that portfolio, right? And so we're looking at all of the stocks that are in these different sectors each week, and that's how we are ranking them. We are going to break our sectors into 3 different areas. You're going to have the growth-based sectors. That's technology, discretionary, and communications. You're going to have the cyclical-based sectors. That's the financials, energy, industrials, and basic materials. And then the defensive sectors here in purple, healthcare, staples, real estate, and utilities. Each week, based off of what we're seeing on the stocks that make up these ETFs, we're going to be moving the sector up or down along this gridiron. As you can kind of see here, it's in kind of a football field format. Between the 40s is neutral, maybe a slight lean, but to the bearish or the bullish side. But between the 40s is going to be neutral. But from the 40 to the 20 is going to be slightly bullish or bearish. Between 20 and the goal line will be bullish or bearish. And then it's unlikely, I don't think it's ever happened, but never say never. I don't think it will, but in the end zone, would one way or the other would be extremely bullish or extremely bearish. That's not really who we are at Tackle Trading. I can't honestly remember a time that we put a sector in the end zone. That's not really who we are. We're typically, a little more conservative than that. And if you're a football fan, it's hard to get in the end zone, right? You spend a lot of time, between the 20s, right? If you're a football fan, hopefully enjoyed the Super Bowl yesterday. If you are, pretty good one. But when you're playing football, usually there's not a lot of touchdowns that get scored, right? A lot of, we spend a lot of our time in between the 20s, as they say. But we'll explain kind of the thought process, the reasoning, why the upgrade, the downgrade, or whatever in the video portion of that. And certainly a big part of what we're doing each week is going to be based off of the different sector ratings. And again, if you need the symbols, you can go, I always encourage you to go directly to the source, sectorspyder.com, SPDR, Spyder with no vowels, is the ETF provider's website, but all of the symbols are in here as well. The last thing we do in our scouting report meeting each week is our rapid fire segment. Basically, all of us coaches will share our favorite bull setup and our favorite bear setup for the upcoming week, what we like about it, a fun way to kind of wind the meeting down and kind of share, kind of, I guess, a little bit of our thoughts going into the upcoming trading week. It's a lot of fun to do. It's a really fun way to end a very long meeting. Those meetings are fun. I love talking charts and things like that, but it's still a pretty long meeting. And so it's kind of a fun way to wind down. You will find a little bit of a link to our Discord here as well. If you're a pro member, I certainly invite you to come join us over on the Tackle Trading Discord channel. It's a great way to be able to engage with other traders, both coaches and all of the members of our team. It's a lot of fun. It's a really great tool to be able to stay connected with members of the team. You can get that get that joined right here. If you have any problems with it, send us an email, team at Tackle Trading. We'll be happy to help. But certainly invite all of our pro members to come on over and talk with us on Discord. It's a great, it really is a great tool. And I've had a heck of a lot of fun talking trading with members of our team over there. Friendly little reminder to match the strategy to the situation, right? Never hurts to have a friendly reminder. You're going to have a pre-built scanner for different sectors. So if a particular area has caught your attention for one reason or another, say energy, since that's the XLE was the ETF we looked at, this is going to bring you over to a pre-built FinVis scanner. You just need to hit the charts button here. And this is going to bring me up a list of what I call trader-friendly stocks. And when I say that, it means they're very liquid, so it's very easy to trade shares. They're borrowable, so I can short if that's the route I'm looking to go. They are all optionable. Just because a stock has options doesn't mean they have particularly liquid options. So I am going to need to check. I would say as a whole, this is a pretty option-friendly list, but I would also say there are absolutely names in each of these pre-built scans that I personally wouldn't trade options on. But whether it's through equity or options, if there's something I find in here I want to trade, I'm going to be able to trade it. And that's really what I mean when I say trader-friendly, at least. This is going to bring us up, as you can kind of see, a bunch of bird's eye view charts, right? So I can kind of easily kind of work through a bunch of charts very quickly, see if anything stands out for one reason or another. And then, I wouldn't want to try to build a trade off of this, right? I couldn't if I tried. It's too little. I'm too blind. But I can get an idea of, wow, it looks like Holly is kind of knocking on the door of some serious resistance, right? I can kind of see right about here, right about here, right about here. Looks like this HFC is trying to maybe break out of a longer term resistance level. It might not look that way when I go look at it in my charting platform, right? Maybe there's a bunch of resistance at 39, just a little bit further back in time that scares me away or whatever. But a very easy way to digest a lot of charts very quickly, find some that I think are interesting to actually go look at in my charting platform. You'll find some good trade ideas in this way. I believe we'll of course have that for all of the different sectors. So if a particular sector has caught your eye as you're going through your daily or your weekly routine, want to get a few watch list candidates for it, great way to quickly go through a bunch of stocks that are tradable, fairly tradable, be it through stock or options, to beef up that watch list. Just a quick world watch. Where's the all world ETF, or the global market ETF, and the dollar index? And then just final thoughts, right? Going into the upcoming weekend. The newsletter is a big part of what we're doing each week at Tackle Trading. And I would argue that it's always kind of the place that we want to start. It's the start of the new week, I think is kind of how I think about that. So that's the Tackle newsletter. Coach Mark does our commodities report for the team each week. He's going to talk about, hey, what's going on in the world of commodities, what's going on fundamentally, technically, thematically, right? Just to make sure that our team is up to date on what's going on with those major commodities. Even if you don't trade commodities over in the futures market, say you don't trade gold contracts or crude contracts or whatever, there's lots of things that we can do through the equity market to take advantage of movement or lack of movement that we oftentimes see in the commodities market. Commodity stocks, right? Gold stocks, gold ETFs, right? Things like that. So there's a lot of things that we can do, even if we don't prefer to trade futures. It's definitely worth checking out that commodities report each week. Coach Mark does a great job keeping the team up to date on a lot of information in that area. The stock and the option report are going to be built fairly similar to one another in the sense that each week we're going to put together a list of potential bullish and bearish trade setups in both the stock for potential stock trades and potential option trades. We're going to base that purely on technicals, right? Breakouts, retracements, reversals, that type of stuff, right? We want to make sure that our team always has actionable ideas going into the upcoming week, right? So I have some bullish, so kind of a little bit of a long weekly pullback on BJ holding here, kind of a breakout candidate here on Dow. Right, we go into the bear list as well. So we're always going to make sure you have that, and that's going to be true whether it's on the stock or the option side, right? And where they're going to differ, because they are going to differ as well, is in the stock report we're going to be coming at these from a stock perspective. And if you are an option trader and you prefer trading options, you can always check the liquidity and see if that's something that you'd be comfortable with, right? It might very well be the case, but it also might not be. For say Twinkies, for example, as we were kind of looking at that breakout in our meeting, we were looking at the options. We're like, what, these just aren't liquid enough to trade. None of us felt that way. And so we liked the breakout potential, but just options weren't there. Felt like a better candidate for a stock report. Whereas, maybe something like SLB, at least in my opinion, it's very easy to trade options on SLB, right? And so just because it's in the stock report doesn't mean you can't look into the options, but it does mean you better because if you've ever been stuck in an illiquid option, you don't need me to tell you how uncomfortable it is, right? It's certainly no fun. We want to make sure that that option liquidity is there. That might not be the case always in the stock report. It will, of course, always be the case in the options report. Every single coach was comfortable with trading options on everything that's in the option report. Otherwise, it wouldn't be in the option report, of course. The conversation is going to be a little bit different too, right? In the video portion of the report, in the stock report, we're going to be able to talk a little bit more about the processes, right? The technicals, and things like that. Whereas the option report, those things are every bit as important, and it's not like we won't talk about them, but there's the whole strategy selection side as well, right? This breakout might be a good opportunity to do a poor boy covered call, might be a good opportunity because of the volatility on the options to maybe sell a credit spread or whatever the strategy might be. So we'll talk a little bit more about the strategy selection side over in the option report as well. But at the end of the day, they're going to be swing trading candidates, whether it's bullish or bearish setups. we encourage our team to add the ones that they like, discount the rest, right? If you don't like Twinkie, you don't have to tell me why you don't like it. You don't want to put it in your watch list, don't, right? It's not about what you don't want to put in your watch list. It's about what you do want to put into your watch list each and every week. We want to make sure that, both on the bull and the bear side, we have some actionable ideas presented to our team each and every week. And we use these lists as well. A couple of things that you can do on these embedded charts. If you hit this button right here, that's just going to hide your watch list. Smack it again, it'll bring it back just to get you a little bit more chart to work with. You can size your chart by holding the left mouse button down in the body of the chart and back and forth. You can scroll up or down to zoom in or zoom out. You can hold your mouse button down, left mouse button down over in the dollars and scrunch up or scrunch down as you need to. You can kind of do a little bit of wiggling, so you can kind of get this set up. If you hold your left mouse button down in the body of the chart, you can kind of move it like I'm moving it right here. Just ways to get it sized, because I don't know if you're anything like me, there's a right size and then there's every other size, right? Your size probably isn't the exact same as mine. I don't think anybody's quite the same. But when I look at a chart, if it's too zoomed out, it annoys me, or if it's too scrunched, or you know the drill, right? So a couple other things. It is defaulted to the daily chart. These are swing trading candidates after all, but the little drop down here will allow you to go intraday or take a longer term. Maybe you've never seen, Twinkies before. Do they have any old history of resistance? No, this is kind of it, right? This is kind of the high water mark for them. Maybe we want to go intraday to see if there's a stop loss location that maybe we would feel comfortable with, right? So you can change your time frame in here. Of course, as you can clearly see, it's set up on a candlestick chart. If you do prefer bar charts, you can change that as well. Most of us these days use candlesticks, myself included. But if you are one of the few that still likes the bar chart, there's nothing wrong with that. You can easily change. You can add indicators here. They will not save. So if I add, typically I add the ATR myself, and that's all. When I leave this page and come back, the ATR will no longer be here. So there's nothing wrong if you want to add a couple indicators, but just do be aware that when you leave, they're not coming back with you. You have to add them again. If you want to, move your indicator, I don't need this to be this big, for example, just hold your left mouse button over the little kind of the wall between volume and the newly added indicator, and hold the left mouse button down. We can scrunch it up or we can scrunch it down. And again, get it sized how we would like to. Your trend line tool is going to be in right here. This is where you can draw. This would, probably most applicable is going to be our, kind of top, right? Kind of a little bit of a overhead resistance on Twinkies here. You can also, draw the trend line. So whether it's horizontal support or resistance or a trend line, easy to do. If you don't need it or want to get rid of it, just select it, throw it in the trash bin right there. That will get rid of that for you. And then lastly, there's a lot of other things that you can do here, but lastly, for this conversation, you can prep long or short trades in this guy right here. This is where I can come in and say, well, this is a little breakout play on Twinkies. I'm not going to get super specific. I'm just going to kind of guesstimate here exactly where to get in. So let's just say that's where my entry is set up, right? And I've got a target price in mind of $23 on Twinkie. Let's just say that that's where our head's at. So I can kind of bring this up to my target price, right? And I can say my stop loss, I want it to be below today's low, right? That's kind of what the trade would look like. Let's just go with that. Let me know what my risk reward is. For every dollar I'm risking, I have $2.11 in potential return based off of how I've just built this trade out. Maybe we say, well, maybe we could go to the intraday and we go to the hourly chart and say, maybe we could kind of pull this up below this little low that kind of held all day long, right? Maybe that's where we want our stop loss, and that's going to let us know, hey, our risk to reward is now 3.3 to 1, right? Tight stop is a lot see if I can say that, it's a lot tighter. There we go. So, but or maybe we want to loosen it up. I'd really like to get below all of this, right? Well, I'm risking $1 to get $1.22. Now that's probably fine if 23 is my first target and say 24 is closer to my second target. But it's that, I would love my stop down there. I would. That'd be a good place for a stop, in my opinion. But I don't like the risk to reward I'm being offered. So that's just not going to work for me personally. So it can be a very nice way to save you some time on doing the math, right? I can see exactly, hey, is this going to be a risk to reward trade? that I can work with or not, right? I can kind of wiggle it around a little bit based off of longer or shorter term time frames, help kind of visualize the trade, if you will. Really helpful little tool. You can build it for both the long, like we just did, or short positions as well. So just a couple tricks on these embedded trading view charts. I imagine most of the charting you're going to be doing is on your own charting platform, but maybe the first time you're going through the stock report or part of your nightly routine where you're kind of quickly going through, see if there's anything you want to, prep, you can be doing it on this page. And so I think it's always helpful to have a couple of ideas of how to, quickly and easily use these trading view charts. As I mentioned earlier, we'll make sure that you have these by Saturday afternoon, so you have plenty of time to go through them before the weekend is over and the trading week is upon us. We'll always make sure that our team is well prepared for the upcoming week in the market, some technical setups, both bullish and bearish in the world of stock and options, as well as some actionable ideas over in the world of commodities. As we get wrapping up here, a couple of other quick things. Our tackle today is our daily email. If you would like to get it and don't, you can just sign up for it directly in here. You can sign up for the email. Each day we're gonna send out a quick email in the morning, a little bit of information, let you know what the lineup's looking like, as well as all the links and everything to get into the different shows for the day. You can also read it directly on this page. It will be delivered to your inbox faster, but if you prefer to read the tackle today on directly on Tackle Trading, you are certainly welcome to do that as well. We are active on all of the different social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. If you're using any of these platforms, I certainly invite you to come join us as well. Our YouTube channel, of course, in a lot of ways, we're pretty well known nowadays for, probably best known for, our live stuff, our halftime report, our special webinars, our Trade Masters webinar. But we do have a lot of videos on our channel as well, a lot of walkthroughs, how-tos, thinkorswim tutorials. We're always thinking of new things to add to our YouTube channel. So hope to continue to see it over here. And, being the YouTube thing, it is always helpful on our end. If you do, subscribe and hit the notification bell, hopefully it's helpful on your end as well. Makes it easier to find our videos, let you know when we are, have added something new or are going live. It always does, it's the YouTube thing. I'm not the picture guy, but it does help a lot when our team does subscribe. So would certainly appreciate subscribe and hitting that bell for the notifications. We've got about a half hour till Coach Tyler's going to be talking some call options, swing trading those options right here on this very channel. If you got some time, I would definitely check it out. Hey, it's Valentine's Day, you might not be able to get away with that, and that's understandable. It'll be right here on the channel waiting for you when you're ready. It's going to be really informative, and I bet you're going to really enjoy it. So if maybe I'll see you there live, or maybe you could catch it a little bit later. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this gave you a better idea of, who we are and what we're doing here at Tackle Trading. We do have a standing offer. If you're not a pro member, of a free 15-day trial, that'll be in the link of any of our videos. You can also find it over in the store tab, so you can come in, see what it's like on the back end for a couple weeks to see if it's a good fit without having to make a commitment. If you are a new pro member, great to have you with us. And I look forward to seeing you around. I'm sure I will see you aplenty, and you'll probably see me aplenty as well. Maybe too much, maybe too much. So, but appreciate everybody's time this evening. I hope this did give you a better idea of what we're doing over here at Tackle Trading, and I welcome you to the team. I look forward to seeing you around and getting to know you as days turn into weeks and turn into months. Have a wonderful rest of your night. If you get some free time, check out that webinar on options with Coach Tyler. I think you'll really, really like it. And have a good Valentine's Day as well. If you got some Valentine's plans, I certainly understand that. Enjoy them and get out of here. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you again really soon.